Alexey Milchakov, infamous for his ruthless brutality, goes by names that strike fear: Serb, Devil and Fritz. His legacy is one of terror and violence in Ukraine. Born on April 30th, 1991, in Leningrad, Russian Federation, Milchakov's ruthless ascent from obscurity to infamy is a tale drenched in violence, hate and unrelenting ambition. Leading the militant group Rusich, he is a Russian neo-Nazi mercenary and field commander whose brutal actions have left a trail of destruction across Ukraine and Syria. There is little known about Alexey Milchakov's early childhood, but what is known paints a grim and foreboding picture. Raised by a single mother who bore him at the late age of 45, his upbringing was devoid of warmth and compassion. His father, a naval officer, was absent, leaving a void that was filled by his mother's intense Ukrainian-phobic indoctrination. In the chaotic 2000s, young Alexei plunged into the neo-Nazi Slavic Union under Dmitry Dyamushkin, where he aggressively nurtured his extremist views. In 2011, Alexey Milchakov violently burst into public awareness through an act of unspeakable cruelty. He brazenly posted photos online of himself savagely killing, beheading and eating a puppy, accompanying the images with a macabre commentary that flaunted his ruthless callousness. The public outcry was immense, yet it only fueled his relentless march toward a life of violence and hatred. Alexey Milchakov's notoriety exploded as he escalated from vile acts of animal abuse to orchestrating human slaughter. By June 2014, he was a notorious figure in the war in eastern Ukraine. Leading the Rusich Sabotage Assault Reconnaissance Group, composed of ruthless Russian neo-Nazis, he unleashed a campaign of terror in support of the Luhansk People's Republic. His tactics were marked by a brutal savagery, such as the ambush near Privitin on September 5, 2014, which resulted in the massacre of approximately 40 Ukrainian soldiers. The scene was grotesque. Milchakov and his men mutilated the bodies, carving symbols into their flesh and desecrating the Ukrainian flag. In the notorious battles for the Donetsk airport, Alexey Milchakov's savagery was on full display. Fighting alongside Arsen Pavlov's ruthless Motorola battalion, he carved a path of blood and terror. His approach was relentless. No quarter given, no mercy shown. Prisoners were not spared. They were tortured and executed, their deaths a gruesome testament to his radical, hate-fueled rampage. Alexey Milchakov's reign of terror didn't stop in Ukraine. After the Donbas conflict, he joined the notorious Wagner Group, a ruthless private military company, and unleashed his brutality in Syria. His campaign of terror escalated, cementing his vile legacy. At the Kayan plant in Homs, Syria, Milchakov and his mercenaries committed heinous atrocities against both combatants and innocent civilians. With the full-scale Russian invasion of Ukraine in 2022, Milchakov stormed back with a vengeance. Leading the Rusich DSRG, he plunged into the bloodiest battles of the conflict. His instructions for the disposal of prisoners of war of the armed forces of Ukraine, published on his Telegram channel, promised torture and death for captured Ukrainian soldiers, a chilling testament to his relentless thirst for violence and hate. Alexey Milchakov's legacy is a dark and bloody one. His radical Nazi views and his acts of terror have made him a pariah and a symbol of the worst humanity has to offer. Despite international sanctions and criminal proceedings, he remains a potent figure of hate and violence. His actions have left deep scars across the regions he has touched, from the battlefields of Ukraine to the war-torn landscapes of Syria. His reputation for brutality is matched only by his notoriety. Even among his own ranks, Alexey Milchakov is feared and respected in equal measure. His approach to warfare is devoid of compassion. His only goal is total domination, achieved through any means necessary. His influence extends beyond the battlefield, as his extremist views and radical ideologies continue to inspire acts of terror and violence. Alexey Milchakov remains a force of malevolence, his fate still hanging in the balance. His existence is a brutal testament to the depths of human depravity and the relentless power of hate. His story is a stark warning of the darkness that can utterly consume a soul and the havoc it can unleash upon the world. Thus concludes the tale of Alexey Milchakov, the Butcher of Bryansk, a man whose reign of terror and tyranny has etched his name into the annals of infamy. His legacy, a grim tapestry of cruelty and conquest, continues to haunt the memories of those who endured his reign.